synchronization in the supply chain. Well, joining us today to speak about that is Brian Keiger, Director of Business Development and Marketing at Stow Robotics. Brian, it's great to see you again.
Thanks, Russell. Appreciate you having me.
Brian, if we were to talk about top of mind right now in the supply chain industry, the biggest challenge perhaps that people are dealing with or facing, how would you characterize that? What would that be? What do you say?
I think there's several things out there, but right now, for years, we've taken for granted this thing we call the supply chain, right? We show up at the grocery store and we don't give a second thought to how the food got to that grocery store, was put on the shelf. But then this little thing called a pandemic happened, right?
I do remember it.
And then suddenly, we were all standing in line just to get a new car or to get bread or prescription drugs. And all of a sudden we were trying to figure out what's happened. And the answer was there was a disruption or a breakdown in the supply chain. And the way you fix that is you need more synchronization in the supply chain, which is simply bridging the gap between supply chain operations, business material processes, and people, in a nutshell.
I'm glad you defined our terminology, synchronization. Very, very important. So let's talk though about, now that we've identified what really is top of mind, what really is the major hurdle out there, major obstacle, how do we go about addressing that? What's the technology, what are the solutions being brought to the industry to deal with that challenge? What do you say?
Well, of course, there's always the labor issue. It's hard to find these days, and even the ones that you have trouble keeping them sometimes. So we're trying to find ways to cut costs in the warehouses, but also to bring back that sustainability of labor, to make them want to be engaged with the solution processes that we're bringing. So labor is a big one that we're trying to address. There's also the space and storage capacity. So as we try to build up more inventory so that we have those shorter timelines to the store, we need more storage space. And the best way to do that is simply to go vertical. And it's least costly to go vertical as well. So those are big things that we're trying to address right now, are the storage, the delivery, and the handling of goods inside the warehouse as well. Transporting those goods to and from your different processes without creating islands of automation. Again, the software becomes very important when you're looking for a seamless workflow, everything working together in harmony.
Well, let's talk more specifically about the software, about the technology, about the solutions that you feel are being brought and need to be brought to the market, to address these challenges. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So you're seeing a big emergence right now in various pallet shuttles. We've seen the ASRS come around and they've done a great job and they still have a very good place. But when you look for really high storage, compact density with throughput that's going to meet the demands that's needed, and then also be reliable and fast to deploy, that's when you're starting to see some more of these compact shuttle technologies or even bin storage technologies out there. There's quite a few of those too. But the key is to try to get as much storage as possible in a location without jeopardizing any throughput or any of the integrity of the product.
Now let's talk just a bit prospectively, if you will. Next big market to expand in or to build on, in your view, what would that be?
Oh, Russell, that's easy. And again, it's been generated from all the things that we've seen in this pandemic, and that would be the cold chain industry. So we're seeing that grow quite a bit. Matter of fact, I've seen studies that even showed a $363 billion increase over the next 5 years in the cold chain industry. And what does that mean? About 58% of companies currently in the cold chain today are going to have to do something like expand or build new facilities just to keep up with that growth. And then when they do that, they're going to need partners and suppliers to come in and help them solve those problems.
Now, I want to turn more specifically now to Stow Robotics. Now, obviously the name suggests the area that the company is involved in, but let's talk very specifically about the focus of Stow Robotics, just what it is that it's doing, and more specifically, what are you doing to optimize the operations of your customer base? What would you say?
So first of all, Stow Robotics came out of a company called Stow. Stow is one of the largest suppliers of rack in the world, producing almost 750,000 tons of steel every year. So that was great to be able to build up that storage space, but then there's the automation piece that Stow has now brought with its Atlas 2D shuttle. This allows us to go in both the vertical and horizontal planes and get that compact, really dense storage that I was talking about with the high throughputs. That's our sweet spot, being able to get those high throughputs with minimum SKUs but really dense storage. Then on top of that, we have AMRs coming to the market using our iFollow technology. And remember when I talked about that cold chain? Well, these AMRs are the only AMRs now in the market that are able to go into the freezer and work, but then come out of the freezer and work in ambient temperatures with no buildup on the sensors and no degradation to the batteries through our patented technologies. So again, now we're allowing to finally get automation like we wanted to into the freezer, but then also work seamlessly with the chilled and the ambient environments as well. These also have the lowest profile in the industry at 6.7 inches or 17 centimeters. That allows us to basically work with most people's load devices as they are, your dollies, your trams, your carts, which then also now lends it to picking processes. So we're able also to then have these bots collaboratively work with people and do a much more efficient process when it comes to picking.
Well, that's some great innovation going on right there, I must say. Brian, I know you're busy here at ProMat, but you found time to speak with us about this important area. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Russell. Great to be here.
That's Brian Keiger, Stow Robotics, speaking with us today about synchronization and other important developments and concerns in supply chain. Thanks for watching.